Good morning, everybody. We made it to Friday the 13th. It is storming here, thunder, lightning, and my cat's acting crazy. Not a good omen on Friday the 13th. Thank goodness I'm not superstitious. Let's see who's in here. Good morning, Aggie. Hello, Deb. Katrina. Blue Eyes, what's up? Life Chaos, what's going on, my friend? Preschool Granny. Hi, Chris. How are you, hon? Are you getting these storms too? Hello, Tea with Grandma Sherry. Muffin Top, thanks for the flowers. Love it. Hi, Carla. Juicy Tequila Bobo, hello. Cheyenne, hello. Hi, Nisa. Hi, Sonia. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. Got more great conversation. There's Uli. Hello. Hi, Navalis. Alibis and Pretty Little Lies. How are you? Are any of you superstitious? There's some people that actually just don't even leave their house on Friday the 13th. I'm not, but today was kind of a weird omen. Oh, Lisa. Lisa said my best friend was murdered on Friday the 13th of 1988. Oh, hun, that's awful. I'm sorry. That is awful. Hello, Juicy Tequila Bobo. She said, Brooks, good morning. It's storming here in KC. Barb says it's hot. Hey, Thomas, what's up? So thanks for being here at the show yesterday. It was a great show. So before I get into this show, again, we're talking about this messed up timeline. A lot of you reached out to me yesterday after the show we did about Hunter. You picked up even more things out of the video. We're not going to watch the video again. We're going to talk about what you guys pointed out to me. I went back through it and I was like, oh man. It's like, how can the entire video stick out? You know? How? So I have an update for those of you that have been following the Nikki Rule case. We've had his grandma Tally on here several times. The last time she was on here was with a huge update. That was on Sunday. Today's an even bigger update. I'm sure she'll come back on the show. Not today, because today she's really busy. As of this morning, she was boarding a plane on the way to Orlando to get Nikki and bring him home. I talked to her. Let me look at my phone. Talked to her around 6:30 this morning. She said she's a bawling mess, ugly tears, getting ready to get on the plane. And I said, nope, you just do you, girl. Don't even worry about the ugly tears or anything. She never, ever gave up. And she had a lot of stuff against her to almost make this not possible. So I'm so excited for her. So I'll keep you guys updated. I did put it on the community tab. And hopefully she'll be able to, when she gets everything settled down, she'll be able to come back on the show. Well, guess who is back on the show? Sasha's backstage. Love talking to her, love her insight and all her deep dives. She goes through these videos and she thinks of things that didn't stick out to me. And it's always a great conversation. Good morning, Sasha.
Good morning, Brooke. How are you?
I'm good, especially after that phone call this morning from Tally.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Now just waiting on an update on Summer Wells. Wouldn't that be nice? She's got to be around there somewhere.
It would be awesome if this case got solved.
I mean, just an update right now. Obviously solved is what we want. We want her found alive, but not brought back home. You're never going to hear me say that.
I agree with you on that.
Navalis said, just updated my video description and title in my video on Nikki. Felt so good doing it. I'm telling you, and I love Navalis's channel, by the way. Isn't it awesome to have good news? I mean, it's such a different feeling than, it's awesome to have the good news. So that is great to hear. Thank you, Navalis. Okay, so in the show yesterday, before I get to the comments, there was a lot of things that you said really got you. What stuck out to you from yesterday, this time, that was different than probably the other 500 times you've seen the interview with Hunter from the porch?
Well, for me, when you mentioned um the conversation with H and Chris, where he was talking about he didn't know who got out the car first when he had to ask his mother who got out the car first, made me wonder, was someone else in the back seat with him to where someone had to let him out and he didn't want to out who all was in the truck that day?
That I don't know. I mean, they would have to have seen somebody else in that truck, is what I'm thinking. But I'm like you. What was the confusion with where you were sitting? Now you tell us that you're hyper alert all the time, and even if you're looking down the street, your peripheral vision can show you what's across the street. You know what I mean? Now that was when
Exactly.
he was up the swim hole, but now when we're in the back seat, he even said he wasn't really paying attention. Okay, so then you're not paying attention, but at the swim hole you were. So
Ex-
then he looks at, I think it was Grandbun, or he was talking to Chris, and he was trying to say that Summer got out, and Grandbun stopped him right there and said, "No, just you."
mm.
What was going on that caused so much confusion in the short trip from Priceless to his house? Because it's a short trip.
And see, that's the thing, and he's also confused about the milk. Like, if it's just you and Summer in the back, isn't there enough room to put the milk on the seat, on the seat somewhere, or even on the floorboard of the truck?
Mhm.
Couldn't you have said it somewhere? Like, how is it that you're so confused about the milk? I
I've
don't.
never, and then he starts popping that thing, the milk, the milk, the milk, the milk. And I'm like, but you know, and you've been asked about this over and over. This is not a new thing. It's not like Chris just came across this picture. He even
Exactly.
told him, you might want to sharpen up your story because you're going to be asked about this a lot.
And I don't think they thought it was going to be into get that this whole thing was going to be this blown out, where get this much attention. And I don't think they were prepared to even answer a lot of the stuff that Chris was asking in
They
regards to that day.
they thought it was going to be just like Rose Bly. They did not expect all this attention. That we can all agree on. Now then, I only watched part of it last night. Okay, guys? Thomas, Brooks, Chris dropped a bombshell yesterday about Don, but it didn't surprise me about what he said. I knew he has associated with shady people. I caught part of it, not all of it. I'm going to watch it again today. Yeah, I wasn't expecting for Chris to play a phone call that changes anyone's mind about Don. I don't think I'm ever going to hear an interview about Don and Candace or Grandis that makes me go, man, maybe I've just been too hard on them. But I heard this phone call was a real knee jerker. Did you hear any of it, Sasha?
No, I only listened to a little of it because they started talking about SA, so I kind of like didn't really get into the video after that. So no, I didn't really. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm. So, for those of you in chat that watched it last night, fill me in. What do you think? Is this more of Don? You think Don's making stuff up? Or is this a confession? I've heard both. Don's making all this up, just trying to, stir up the drama. Now, mind you, this was from a long time ago because he's been in jail. Or is this a confession of some sort? I'm not buying it, said utterly eye opening. Okay. Uh, I'm not buying it, said confession. You guys are going to hear a lot of thunder. Like I said, we're in the middle of a storm. Snow said, I think it was gross and it wasn't surprising. And it wasn't surprising. The other Sharon said, yes, I watched it. What did you think, Sharon? Graham E says she thinks it's a confession. Jakey, I think it's a leak confession, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going to go through it today and we're going to talk about it on Monday because I'm kind of with you guys, I think there's truth behind even a white lie, you know?
Definitely is. All. I think all of the people that are involved in the case gives out a little truth with the white lie.
Yep. It's in there somewhere. That's why when people are like, oh, I don't believe anything they say, blah, blah, blah. it's like, okay, I get it. I'm not saying that these people are telling us the truth. I mean, I've preached this a million times. Somewhere in there is the truth. That's why we're banging our heads against the wall. And we come in every morning talking about these cases, especially this one, because these parents, if you want to call them that, they do not, they don't want this solved. Dawn was
They,
even bragging one day. They're never going to find her. They don't have shit.
yeah, they and that's the way they want it. They don't want it to get any more attention. They don't want her to be found. They want it all to go away.
I'm also wondering if WJHL is going to do any kind of update because Sunday is 11 months since Summer went missing. And while it seemed like we were having a lot of interviews were coming out, the bombshell from Ronnie Lawson, everything went radio silent. That makes me nervous.
Yeah, that wow, and I can't see him telling something that's not truth. That's not the truth, and and that like, and you can tell that they don't even care to even look for Summer. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't see him lying about it.
Well, and like you and I were talking this morning, um, your first assumption when you can't find your daughter, especially since she's wandered off before, is she's around there somewhere. Candace is in the house trying to get a hold of Hunter and Allie.
And that's the thing. Why would you call a 15-year-old when your daughter is missing? What is he going to do? What can he help you with that situation?
Oh, he can't help. I think it was a warning shot.
Of course, I definitely agree with you on that. It was, I think, that was the cue. Hey, we call the police. Is just let you know things are starting to roll. So remember the script, and
And it's going down. I've already called
exactly.
911. Not saying that Hunter's in on it. This was a warning shot. The police are going to ask you questions. And, she probably told him what to say. Then she's
Oh,
talking to Allie, and Allie's really vague about their conversation, just that Candace is drunk and trying on hats. Okay, back to the Chris phone call. And again, I only heard part of it. Miss Vixen said the call was from last August and was submitted to law enforcement back then. Chris has been sitting on it until now, trying to convince Candace to tell law enforcement what she knows before it's too late. I love this comment because if Candace starts cooperating, it's going to be better for her in the long run.
definitely will. Definitely will. And I'm wondering if she'll break or if Grandis will break first.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to go through a couple of minute clips that you picked out from Chris's interview with Jose that oddly coincide with the happenings of June 15th. We're not placing Jose there. We're just picking out a couple of oddities. So let's go through some comments. You ready, girlfriend?
I'm ready.
Okay. So just fair warning on this channel, we talk about everybody's theories, speculations. Some of them, yes, I won't address because, aliens, UFOs, I mean, all of that stuff, I'm not going to, my brain can't do it. So, anyway, Colleen reached out yesterday. She said, I think she bribed, and she's not the first one to have this idea, okay? I think she bribed Hunter with tea and vapes as payment to make a drug delivery or purchase. She said the boys were at work to him because she didn't want them there because they would open their mouths to someone. Remember, he walked off over to the path in the woods. He doesn't want to say he did that transaction. Um, she's not the first person to bring that up, that she could have orchestrated all this, not only because something was going to happen to Summer that day and she needs a proof of life witness, but that also she could have put him up to doing something nefarious for her. to keep him quiet about what was going on that day. And again, this is someone's opinion, it is someone's theory. And, I listen to what everybody thinks about this case.
And that could be, that's honestly not a bad theory. Like, um, I could see Candace doing just that. But also, I feel that Candace bribed the, not even bribed, but I feel like Hunter had to ice the tea and the vapes because I feel like he was dealing with something in regards to sitting next to Summer. Either she was passing or had already passed, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I feel like that's probably why she gave him that, because he was dealing with that sitting right next to a body that's, you know, in the process or already.
Yeah, something was going on in that back seat to where he can't even remember where he put the milk or who was sitting where. I still don't
Exactly.
understand why he keeps saying, well, no, then I was sitting in the middle. Oh, well, then she was sitting in the middle. Then what or who were on the other side? You're in the
I
back seat. Everybody sits by a window unless there's more than two of you or there's other stuff in there. They didn't go to Priceless till the end of the day, so they weren't hauling around milk the whole day. And this is a very confusing thing for him. And mind you, they were just going from the grocery store over to his house. They could have put the milk in the truck bed and put stuff around it so it didn't flop over, or just set it in the floor. What was going on with that, and why is it confusing?
and that's what I keep trying to wrap my mind around too. Like something like, to me, I feel like there were more people in that car that day, in that truck that day, that
Something's
nobody.
up, or something else was in there. Something was making it where she's sitting in the middle and then him. You've
Hmm.
got room for three people and there's two of you. What was in there?
Exactly. And also, remember, his mother don't know if she uh, got left the porch or not, and saw Summer with the milk jugs that way. Like either you went to the car, the truck, or you didn't. You know, um, she's confused about whether she left the porch or not, or were or and I question if maybe she was in the truck also.
Who?
You know, um, Allie.
That I can't figure that one I don't know. I
I
don't know.
I mean, I'm just wondering.
I'm trying to figure out. We've got a ghost here somewhere, whether it's an object or a person, because this makes no sense.
I,
Let's say I'm piling up three other people. I'm driving. I've got someone in the passenger seat. You're going to have someone directly behind me, someone directly behind the passenger seat. They're not going to sit shoulder to shoulder in the back.
exactly.
Uh-uh. No. No. All right, let's get to the next comment. Hang on. This got me too, because over time, this part of the day goes away. Colleen, this is a separate, same person, separate comment. I keep wondering where the stop at Sonic seems to have disappeared in the story. So when Grandis is on WJHL, she fails to mention Sonic, and Candace even told McDonough what flavor of slushy her mom got. She puts herself out of the day as much as possible. Also, another thing that's always stuck out to me. So you got up early, went to the hospital, picked up Hunter, you're swimming, Walgreens. Nobody had a bite to eat. Why?
Exactly. I can't imagine taking a child to Sonic and they're not asking for any type of food on the menu,
Hmm.
especially if they haven't eaten all day. You didn't feed them breakfast. Well, I don't know if she fed a breakfast or not, but still, you take a kid to a fast food restaurant, they're gonna want something other than a slushy. I know my kids are like that.
Hmm. My kids could have just had a Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm like, I'm going to go to Sonic and get something to drink. Or, and they're going to be like, hey, can I get a number three with extra tots?
Exactly.
That's how kids are. Come on. Somebody in there had to have been hungry. No way. And they've always skipped around that.
Yeah, and also just, oh, everybody just wants slushies that day. That's it. Like, I just don't believe that.
But she was cold.
Yeah,
Why not get her a hot cocoa? She was cold. Why get her a slushie?
very true.
Why? I mean, and they've all said that all kids do, that she likes French fries so much. Why not get her a little bag of French fries? You get a slushie for a girl that you say is cold?
Yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
it just doesn't make sense.
No, it
Doesn't make
doesn't.
sense.
Mary says, I'm watching replay, but question, why would he be suspicious if something hadn't happened already? This is kind of where I think he's just playing into it, he's a teenager, trying to be the hero, I guess, in a way. Because when he said in two different parts of the video, well, I was looking to see what was going on, that seemed suspicious to me. He couldn't have possibly have known what was going to go on that afternoon. What do you think? Because I mean, it is odd for him to be suspicious yet not knowing what was going to happen that afternoon.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like, why would you be suspicious if nothing has happened? Why would you even be listening in on a phone call if nothing's going on to that, for you to be suspicious of? Like, I agree with what you said on in regards to that, because I feel like he just, there's no reason for him to be the way that way if nothing has happened.
I mean, today is really just, besides, the rain, it's just a normal day. My suspicions aren't up. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
why is he saying now that he was suspicious that day? Unless, like I said, he's just putting it on he's a kid, he's putting it on for TV. I don't know, but I do think that's odd too. It also, this was pointed out to me in an email, and I did go back through, I didn't write down the minute mark, but he said to McDonough, he goes, well, it was a short period of time before they dropped me off and she went missing. He wasn't yawning during that statement. And no, I don't think Hunter is involved in her disappearance. I had a few of those emails yesterday. Like I said, I can't make it more clear. I'm not going to blame him. Haven't blamed anybody. There's too many people involved to pin down one.
Yes, way too many people.
But that is such a matter-of-fact statement, and the fact that he knows it. Like I said, he's 15 years old. He's a kid. And the fact that he knows it and says, because it was a short period of time before they dropped me off and she went missing. So we don't know shit about the milk or why someone was sitting in the middle, but we know that. That resonated with him. That would scare the hell out of me too. Don't get it confused.
And that's the thing too. It was a short period of time before she went missing when they dropped him off. Also, Candace called him to let him know as well about that Summer's missing. So something, and neither one of them want to put Hunter at the Wells' house at any time that day, because Candace made it clear to Chris that, oh, I told Hunter he wasn't coming back to the house with me. He has to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And Hunter, made it clear also to Chris that he hasn't been up there to the Wells houses, to the Wells house in a year.
And that the girlfriend's mom picked him up shortly after Candace dropped him off. Okay, good enough. But you don't keep track of time, but you say this statement, which when you really think about it, will make the hair on your arm stand up, because it was a short period of time between when they dropped me off and she went missing. You understand that time.
Yep, but not any other time. Any other time, don't know what time it is. What it's I don't know. Whenever it's convenient for them, they remember. But I think some of the things what Hunter, he let some of the things out without really knowing, and I think that's why his mother was sitting there like she wanted to just crack. Mm-hmm. The way she was, she was like she was irritated. And
they were fine at first, and as the interview went on, they both not Actually, all three of them. Actually, all three of them became increasingly anxious. Now, I'm going to look
Yes.
at this comment on the screen because I love this. Ivory, she said, in my opinion, the pillow and milk was used to prop Summer up so she would be seen on camera in the drive-throughs. That makes perfect sense to me. We have to make sure they see Summer.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense. That definitely to me would be the use for the pillow.
That,
Definitely.
mm-hmm, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Perfect sense to me. All right, last comment from AG. AG. She says Hunter said he could believe that story of someone was there touching the kids because Billy was up there doing that stuff. And then he said he was nowhere near the little kids. Her mom wouldn't allow that. So why was Billy brought up? What the hell? Yeah, why was Billy thrown into that? And if you haven't really had communication with them, how would you know that Billy had been up there doing anything? But then also when you're talking to Chris, you said, "Oh, y'all, anytime we're together, we just talk about like what went on the last week and stuff like that." So I don't believe that all this communication had been cut off in October like they want us to believe. Because don't forget, his child abusing grandma Sherry went to Chili's with Candace in March of 2021, and she put it on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't believe that they stopped communicating over Jose or that situation. I definitely believe everything was all good all the way up until Summer went missing and somebody went off the script and things got that's where the communication stopped between them.
Yeah. So we know there was definitely a falling out. But Candace must not have realized there was a falling out because all of that went down in October of 2020. And then, like late November, she's posting stuff like this. Uh, who's your drunk Elfie twin? Candace and True. 99, 98% compatible. True is Allie's daughter. That's inappropriate, Candace.
Yeah, especially for
Even if it accidentally posted, you take it down.
exactly, especially a minor.
Hmm. So she had that up, and then shortly after, I guess she likes playing these quizzes and stuff, which is fine. I get into them sometimes too. Uh, who is who is who in your drunk Christmas squad? Jose, the blunt one. True, the troublemaker. Candace is the naughtiest one. I will agree with that. Allie, the Grinch, and Allie's the crazy one.
Wow.
So somebody must not have told Candace that these people hate her ass so bad because she was inviting them to go to Chili's and posting their names, even if they're underage, all over her Facebook.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely don't believe the friendship cut off during that time.
Mm-hmm. Angel said, Billy is an alcoholic that used to sleep it off in the shed. Yeah, and that he's after Grandis. We had to hear that again.
Who's Billy?
Oh, the way they were talking about the video, Billy the drunk that was living in the shed, sleeping in the shed, and he had the hots for Grandis. These people think between their legs more than any people I've ever seen in my life.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter. Oh.
And the amount of kids that Ken's have had and to have none of them speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that was brought up to me yesterday from watching the video, and I know I brought it up to you. We didn't really get into it too much, but I want the chat to weigh in on this. All right. Hunter says two of the boys were at work with Dawn. All right. We have this screenshot of Candace basically saying the oldest boy was with Dawn. She was on another panel. where Candace said she didn't know where Dawn was that day. Question is, Grandis said when they got back, the boys helped bring in the groceries. If the boys were at work with Dawn, how'd they get back home? Dawn would have had to have left the job site, brought them back home, and gone back to work. Because we have a huge discrepancy here as to where were the boys that day.
Right. And did she tell Chris during the interview at the swim hole that the boys were at home?
That they were at home. So again, why are we hearing different things?
Wow. And the oldest son, if the oldest son went with Don to work, you're gonna leave two small kids at home by themselves?
That goes without saying in their world.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's not even a red flag for me anymore.
Yeah,
Even when you have someone in your family that's been missing for over 10 years, you think you would be extra cautious. That doesn't even. Mm-mm.
And you know, also when Dunn did the video, well, not the video, but the phone call with Chris, on one of the phone calls, he didn't mention any of the boys going to work with him that morning. He mentioned getting up, Summer foot was underneath him or something, and he can't remember if he had breakfast that morning, but he didn't mention anything about any of the boys being with him that morning.
Exactly. So what's the importance? Candace, if you left your kids home alone that day, okay, we're not shocked. Whatever.
And she seemed to leave the boys home often by themselves.
And they were there alone with Summer many times. This is not a secret. So how come that day you have to place the boys, or two of them, or the oldest one, at work with Dawn? There's something going on there. Yet Grandis, they pull in the driveway, and the boys help carry in the groceries. She said, and of course, Summer. So it takes 4 kids to get 2 jugs of milk and a couple blocks of cheese. Now, I would call that teamwork. That would never happen in my house.
Mine's either. and then, you know, you have to, well, I'm just thinking, if you need all that help to get all your groceries into the house, you know, were you really in the supermarket that long, as Hunter said, an hour?
An
Or
hour?
yeah, or were you in there for, I think Candace said 5 minutes or so, not too long?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Too many discrepancies for one day, that unless you are severely traumatized, and it does happen, that no one can keep their story straight. And Grandis, you are very suspicious to me that you leave so much of the day out. You get on WJHL to convince the public that you are cooperating. You did the opposite. You actually confirmed you're not cooperating. And you leave out everything of the day except your bum knee and taking a nap. You left a ton of stuff out. But what you did sprinkle in and mention, again, threw this into a tidal wave.
Yep, I definitely agree with you. And that 3 hour nap, I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
expecting her to, you know, I was expecting that. That was definitely a curveball with
Mm-hmm.
the 3 hour nap, but it makes sense, especially for going to the ER, and who knows what they gave her there other than a cortisone shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she probably was tired.
Oh, I'm sure she was tired if she took a 3-hour nap or never got back up till the next morning. Neither here nor there. But she makes sure to let everyone know, especially when she shrugs off the interview and says, and that's the last I seen her.
Oh, yeah.
That's a definitive statement, as in, piss off and don't bother me again with this. I've told you all I know.
Yep, that's definitely what I got from that. When I saw it, I
And
was
we
like,
know there's way more to it.
yeah. And she didn't even mention Hunter being with them
How could
at
she
all.
forget that? How could she forget Sonic? She does say, I think they went swimming, which tells me she wasn't there because she's not in the swimming hole video anyway. That's
Exactly.
so. I mean, okay, I believe her on that. I'm not saying I don't believe that she didn't go to the hospital. I'm not saying I don't believe she didn't go to a nap, take a nap. I believe that. I also believe that she knows way, 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 way more.
I
And for
agree.
any grandmother to come on TV and say, "Oh, no, I'm cooperating. Matter of fact, I just talked to the police back in December." Mind you, this interview's in March about some YouTubers. December, January, February, March. So in 90 days, you've had no communication with law enforcement in regards to your granddaughter being missing.
And you would think I would be on the phone with them every day. Hey, did you find anything? Is there anything? Like, I don't understand it. It's like they were waiting on them to reach out to them. Like, you're the one with the missing kid. I would definitely be on them.
I'd want to know everything. I mean,
Exactly.
exactly. I'd be like, anything new? I mean, I know, honestly, I'd be every day. What's going on? Anything new? Hey, I mean, I know you're the investigators, but I've been hearing this and hearing that. What do you know? Anything you need from me? Or I just remembered something that was odd about the day. I mean, anything.
Exactly.
But no.
Exactly.
So before she called about YouTubers in December, when was her last communication? I'm guessing it was in June of 2021. If I was a betting woman and I had some money to put down in Vegas right now.
I definitely think you will win that bet because I don't can't recall any other times either.
No, nope, me either. Me either. And so a lot of people were saying, what about the fact that Allie has not done anything about, the alcohol or anything? Well, hang on. This is from Candace's Facebook. Okay, so she puts this up. I think this is July of 2020. I don't have my glasses on. It's kind of blurry anyway. So she puts this really clever caption up. So she's got a can of Coke and some Jose Cuervo and says it's 5 o'clock somewhere. All right. Ha ha, Candace. Ha ha. All right. So here comes Allie. Candace says, delicious. Allie, I want some. Have one for me, sissy. There's Hunter. Me too. Allie gets notifications. Candace is on that Facebook all the time and that TikTok. You think that Allie would have said, Hunter, take that down. You're too young for that.
Oh no, that's their lifestyle.
It's their lifestyle, and she was just fine with it. Just
Yeah,
fine with it.
and to the point where weren't her kids the staying at one point at Candace's house?
Yeah. To the point that she had to call the police to break the party up, if you know what I mean, because there's no rules there. They can do whatever they want.
Wow,
Sleep till 2, 3 in the afternoon, stay up all night long, drink, smoke. I mean, they're treated as equals almost.
that was the party house.
Party house. Just me said Allie doesn't care. So no surprise there. They had been going back and forth on Facebook about him drinking underage.
Wow, so Allie had no problem with it. She had no problem with what they were doing at all.
Nope. So I'm going to get to your email that you put together. And I've got these clips put together. Okay, so you have been really looking at the interview between Chris and Jose.
Yes, and I'm not accusing Jose of anything. I'm not. You and I have already talked, but I'm not accusing Jose of anything. I'm not saying that he's lying, but if it doesn't make sense, something's wrong with the story. And some things I just couldn't get past because it just didn't make sense, and some of it sound too much like the 15th.
It's weird. Now, there is absolutely nothing showing that Jose was anywhere even near the stage, hence the FBI having to go find him. He wasn't that easy to find, even for the FBI, okay?
Wow.
But I'm wondering, again, just wondering, if he had some communication with someone after Summer went missing. I have a very hard time believing he had no idea anything was going on, because he has way more knowledge. It's just eerie when he explains seating positions to me, particularly after what we heard from Hunter yesterday. So I'm going to go to the 40-minute mark, and I want you to explain what you hear in this, okay?
Okay.
Carrie, yeah, Jose dropped off the face of the planet. Do you blame him? Because if I had to see that mess up there, I'd be off the planet too. I'd be like, uh-uh.
Right?
Don't even ask me if I'm doing well today. I never want to hear the name Wells, nothing ever again. No. Uh-uh. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is about the 39-minute mark. Okay, you ready?
All right. Yep.
I have to mute my mic.
We walked a lot in that beaming sun. I don't know if my shoulders were.
Don't advertise on Google Ads or Facebook before blocking click fraud with Clixies. Not a fun fact.
Were burned because I had a tank top on. I never will forget that.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, then, the house.
Okay, so there he's just talking about getting a sunburn and had a tank top on. So this should be about the mark you're talking about. Hang on.
Okay.
Falls through, or at least it sounds like it's falling through. How does the Wells family come into this? At what point?
So, Andrew had called them like after we unloaded the truck that we started looking for the hotel room. It must have been our second or third hotel we went to check.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'm gonna call my son's mother. Maybe she might know a cheap enough hotel for all of us to get, at least 2-3 rooms for us.
Okay.
And he wound up calling her, and then she was like, "You're here?" And he's like, "Yes, we're here." And then he gave her the directions. Maybe a half hour later, we met her in front of like a Dollar General or something like that. And it was like right down the block, the storage. And that's when I first seen them. I didn't actually meet them until we were loading the truck for them to leave. And I said, I'm not going back.
Okay, can
And
you
I was
stop?
like, please talk to your.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I was getting ready to stop it. No. Okay, so let's go into this because this is really stuck out to you somehow in correlation. It like he could only be talking about maybe something he heard from the 15th. It's really weird. Okay, what are you hearing?
For me, like, why do they need to unload a truck, the truck in the storage, if they've already know that everything fell through? What's the need of putting something in storage? It doesn't make sense to me, especially if you're turning back around, coming back this way to New York. Why do you need a storage area for that time? And on top of that, who drives all the way from here, from New York to Tennessee, without a guarantee that everything is in place? You gave up your keys, all of that. To me, something is not right with
That
that.
whole trip makes no sense. For one, to rent a place, you have to have a job. So it seems to me that they plan to flop with somebody. Okay, get down there and it didn't work out. Why put your stuff in a storage unit? Wouldn't you just turn around and go back to New York?
Exactly. And what storage unit would let you rent something for a day or two or a short period like that?
It makes more sense to just keep renting the truck until you get ready to go back.
Exactly. So I immediately thought, like, wait a minute, it does not make sense to bring all your stuff from here, get a storage, and everything that already fell through anyways. So what do you need storage for? What are you unloading, and what are you loading? Why are you loading it and unloading it? It doesn't make sense.
There's something more nefarious behind this trip down there. They had no plans to relocate. I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either.
Maybe Jose had plans to relocate and he thought, yeah, Tennessee will be good for me. This friend Allie's is going to rent me a room. Maybe he did. I think there was something else going on. I think he was along for the ride. Is what makes more sense to me.
It does. It does. That does make sense, because it definitely doesn't make sense the way they're saying it at all. And also with that, they're like Allie already had um, knowledge that they were coming down there, and
She
the
knew. She knew, and
exactly.
she had already reached out to Candace. And this had to have gone down pretty fast because Candace spent a lot of the summer of 2020 with Summer and two of her boys and her mom in Wisconsin. That's all documented on her Facebook. She was not on Ben Hill Road. She was not in Tennessee. So again, when he talks about the 6 months, he couldn't have been there for 6 months because Candace wasn't even in the state. So we're confused on times, which seems to be the common denominator in this case.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So my thought of that, and it's just my thought. Is could they have been there more than once, or if they're mixing up information, not information, but if they're mixing up details, or something just doesn't seem right with that trip from here to Tennessee.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I have a feeling I'm going to be waiting forever for one person to come out, tell the 100% truth. And even if we don't like it, we go, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not have to pick through all of it. Okay, so then you said if you get to the 43-minute mark, something else there stuck out to you. Let me look right here. You
Yes.
said even around the 43-minute mark, you said when he talks about them splitting ways, they are loading a truck. Is it the U-Haul truck? And remember that picture of Summer next to a U-Haul truck. Is it me or did Summer look dressed up in that picture? Like a memory photo. Now, anytime in these cases when I see what I call like a memory photo, like the one Letitia Staunch took, freaks me out. Maggie Boswell did it, and it looks to me like Candace may have. But anyway, you said, did you see any bruises on her? I don't have the photo. I wish
And
I had the photo.
I've been trying to find it, but I can't remember where I saw it at. But there's definitely a picture of her with next to a U-Haul truck, and she has this. I think it's a dress. I can't recall what it is, but like flowers and a headband,
Hmm.
and it's just something just stood out to me in regards to that picture, in regards to the people that came down from here to Tennessee.
Mm-mm-mm. And also, I still, I don't think Jose has as much to do with Summer as I really don't. But I mean, just what the light when he's being forthright that he sheds on the whole situation gives us a better picture of what really goes on there. That being said, I still think that Allie and Candace were obviously really, really good friends. For Allie to say Hunter's dad's friend that nobody's met, nobody knows, he could be anything. He could be a drug trafficker. He could be a child molester. We don't know anything about this guy. Can he come stay with you? And Candace is like, sure.
Exactly. You got and to have kids in your home and allow a stranger to come to your house and your husband not even around to
Yeah,
even if something happens.
he's in Utah with the oldest son. All right, so let me get to this because I'm just going to play it straight through. I'm not going to speed up to 43. That way it flows. Is that all right?
That's perfectly fine.
Tell me where you need me to pause it.
Okay.
From his mother to see if she could help me find a place out here. I could get a job, I'll pay rent, whatever like that. And that's where she had spoken to Candace.
Okay,
And
so
Candace
this
said,
is
yeah.
when you say seen them, who's them? This is Allie
Candace,
and who's
Candace, Candace, her mother, Allie, Allie's youngest daughter, and Hunter and Summer.
so everybody meets you guys at this Dollar General store. Is that what you're saying?
Mm, yeah.
Okay, and then what happened?
And Andrew and them were speaking. I was just by the truck, just sitting down, resting. And we must have been there about a good 2 hours, 3 hours. And I'm just sitting there wondering, what are they going to do? Because I just came along for the ride. So I didn't put no insight in it. I just zipped up And I just sat there and waited. And that's when Jeff came back and he was like, "We're going back." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, we just gotta go back." And I'm like, "But you gave your keys to your apartment and all of this. Like, where y'all gonna go?" And they're like, "Oh, will have somewhere to go when we get back." And I was like, "Well, I don't. Like, I literally left everything over there. I don't want to go back at all." And they were like, "Don't worry, we could try to figure something out for you." So while we were loading the truck, like halfway through it, just my mind was running and running, and I just started to tear up because my depression, anxiety started to kick in real bad, and I was just tearing up, and I began to shake a little, and that's when I said, "Andrew, I'm not going back."
All right.
And they were shocked, all of them, like, "What?"
All right,
And
so I missed that when he said, "I'm not going back." The rest of them went back, but he wanted to stay. Doesn't know Candace, okay? I'm not throwing shade at Jose. I'm trying to make sense. This isn't a rag on Jose session. I'm just trying to make sense of this as an adult who's relocating to another state to move in with a perfect stranger that doesn't even have a room for you, if you really want to know the truth.
exactly.
All right, help me out here, girlfriend.
All right. So they're loading the truck back up, and you know this meetup mark at the dollar store, and listen to all the people he's saying is there at the time. Some of the same people that were in the in the and that's in the case for what happened on the 15th. And they're there at the dollar store storage area for 2 to 3 hours. Now, I'm not saying that he's talking about the day of the 15th, but it kind of just sound like it. And as you play more of the video, this one part, I think everybody will see what I'm talking about then. But to me, could that 2 to 3 hour period be part of the 15th? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Chris looks puzzled as hell. He's just like, "What?"
Mm-hmm. But
And
wait till you.
he's a detective. It's no biggie for me to be confused. It's really no biggie for me to go, "What the hell?" But when he's looking puzzled, it's like, "Huh, huh."
But wait till you see his face when he starts naming the people that are in the truck with when Jose starts telling about who's all in the truck with him.
And like Michelle says, 3 hours at the dollar store. You could buy the whole store in 3 hours. Getting really
Exactly.
tired of the damn dollar store popping up in all these cases. We had to hear about the dollar store in Harmony Montgomery's case the other day. And I mean, chat lit up. They're like, "Another dollar store?" I'm like, "I know."
And remember, Dudley mentioned the dollar store.
Oh, no.
Dudley mentioned
Oh, no.
Dudley. Huh?
No, you're right.
Yeah, Dudley mentioned the dollar store. Dudley, it's something about his story as well. Dudley said that Grannis had an accident at the dollar store, which I believe Dudley was giving clues and not giving the actual, event of. I don't know if Grannis actually had a fender bender there, but some of the stuff that Dudley said, I don't believe everything, but it's just too much of a coincidence with the dollar store, and Jose mentioned the dollar store again, and it's just, I don't know.
And Dee Dee, she goes back to what a lot of people are assuming. Again, this is opinion. Opinion. We're not putting facts out here as this is what happened. Just we're having a conversation. A lot of people have said this. That trip down there, I mean, Jose wound up saying he was planning to relocate. How long he planned to stay there at the Wells, I don't know. Don seemed to mess up his relocation plan. Dee Dee, Brooks, it had to be a drug run. They weren't planning on moving to Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't think they were planning on moving to Tennessee either that, like she said, a drug run or something definitely was fishy.
The trip makes no sense, and 3 hours at the dollar store certainly doesn't. I get like cleaning supplies there, toilet paper. I mean, I might look around a little bit, but it's not a 3 hour run. I'm not doing a month's worth of grocery shopping when I go. That
Exactly. Exactly. And the storage place is right not far from the Dollar Tree as well that they've, you know, put their stuff at and loaded and unloaded it at. So it's just something that stuck out to me in regards to the Dollar Tree and the storage and the 2 to 3 hours.
big time, because I've been to the dollar store and there's nothing in there unless there was a tornado outside that would keep me in there for 3 hours.
Exactly. And then the people that's there with that, that met up together, some of the same people that are that, or not revolving, but that's surrounded the case on the 15th. Why are these the same people kind of that's in the you get what I'm saying, right?
I know exactly what you're saying. We're going to go back to the video. Hang on, because now my mind is really going crazy. Hey, Little Dove, welcome. Little Dove says, my first time here. Awesome. We have a bunch of new names in here, guys. Hit the sub button. Hit the sub button. Don't forget to hit the bell and do the remind all. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but a lot of people aren't getting their notifications. All right, here we go.
Said, I'm not going back. I said, please call your baby mother, ask her. Just ask her, see what happens. And he wound up calling her, and Candace said yes. And then they wound up turning right back around to come pick me up to go with them.
Back to New York?
No, Candace and her mother and Allie came to pick me up to go to the Wells house. And Andrew and his family and Jeff and his family, they all returned back to New York. We parted ways right from the storage area. From after they loaded up the truck that I finished helping them, we just split ways. I went with Allie, Candace, and her mother, and everybody else went back to New York.
That in itself is weird that he stayed there. Anyway, nah, I don't understand. You go all the way down there, things didn't work out. Why unload the truck? Were these Jose's things? Did he rent a storage unit? And so when he went to South Carolina with grandma, they certainly don't mention any U-Haul with his stuff. What's going on?
Yep, something's definitely fishy about that. Definitely. Like it caught my attention right away because it did not make sense.
Mm-hmm. It makes me nauseous when I have to sit there and listen to stuff, and it's like, this makes absolutely no sense.
And I think about the 15th, and I try to see if it makes sense with any of it, and 2 to 3 hours of time that it took, and everybody seemed like some of the same people. They split ways at the Dollar General. So it makes me wonder sometimes, could they have taken Summer if they were there on the 15th? Could they have taken Summer and brought her back to New York, or brought her to New York?
It'd have to be
But
much, much later. I don't know that they ever came back. I don't know, because she, obviously she's been seen between, what was it, September and June. But there's just too many question marks and too many shady ass people that can't tell the truth.
it is, and I definitely agree with you. Well, I'm not talking about like I'm just wondering if they were there around that time of June 15th, and happen to like, if the details he's given is from June 15th.
The details are too weird. The storage unit is too weird. It's all too weird. And in the midst of all of these adults, and all of them, every one of them that can't tell a story that we would go, hey, even if we're not happy with what they said, we could go, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I can accept that. It's heinous. It's disgusting. You're a terrible person, but it makes sense to me. Not that I would do it. It makes sense. Not a one of them can come out with anything that makes sense. And they
None
trip
of them.
over their own stories. And in the
Definitely
midst of
agree.
this is Summer. You would think there would be one person that would stand up and say, listen, this is what I think happened. Now, I guess Sherry does. Sherry has said that she thinks Candace is involved, and, Allie and Leslie, but not really anything to back it up except for a couple of stories that, I don't know.
Yep, I definitely agree. It's like, now you're bothered by Candace's parent, the way Candace parent, but any other time you never had a problem with it.
Well, and that bothers me too, not just in this case, but every case. A lot of people just mind their own business. We're very busy with our own lives, so we don't pay as much attention as we claim to. So when something bad happens, then in hindsight, you're like, oh, how did I not see that? And I don't mean something as serious as this. It could be a
Right.
coworker getting fired going, how did I not notice all that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we're in our own lives. But these people were directly involved with the Wells. Jose was living there. Allie thought of Candace like a sister. She made comments to her on Facebook all the time. Sissy, sissy, sissy. They were very much involved in each other's lives. There's no way they could not have known what was going on.
Exactly. And I just don't believe that this is the first time that the people from here came to Tennessee. Like, I feel like there's have to have been some type of communication with them previously before that actual trip.
And like Kenny said, the truth is never this complicated. Never.
Exactly.
And if we learn anything from this, it is that just once again, something more confusion. And yeah, Brawless
Yep.
mom. If I was moving, I would sit back and wait for the phone call to tell me it's good to go. Why pack everything, drive to another state, and have to drive back to New York on a bunk run? Why?
Exactly. And you're losing money to rent a U-Haul. First of all, I mean, it costs money. I mean, I haven't rented a U-Haul in a while, but some U-Hauls charge by the miles and all of that.
They're not cheap. I mean, unless you're just going to move something around town.
Exactly.
But they're going across several states.
Exactly.
So I have a question. That corridor right there is, a pretty notorious corridor for mule and dope. Is this a dope run from New York to Tennessee?
No.
Could it be?
No, not.
He said, could it be? Jose, you may not have known what was really going on. You don't know what's in everybody's minds and what conversations they've had without you present. I understand you don't want to be complicit in something like that, but it seems like Chris is saying the same thing. This doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
And in the midst of this, again, not in the midst of this move or Jose living there, Summer Wells is missing. You look at all the people that surrounded her. I hate to say it, it's not a shock.
None
Not
whatsoever.
that I know of. They knew
Well-
better than to bring that around me. They knew better. Because I
Well-
told them, I'm not going to jail for nobody. So I don't want, because a few of them smoked marijuana. In New York, that's illegal. It's not like,
Right.
in other states where it's legal.
You see,
So
but
it's like, well, we're going to take something to smoke. And even I was like, nah, you're not going to bring that. No.
yeah, right.
We got to keep
No, I mean,
everything. They could push you for trafficking. And I was like on them with that. And they were like, you know what, Jose, you're right. And they decided not to bring nothing. We just brought cigarettes, basically.
Did he just say?
Snacks and waters for the kids. But
I'm sorry. I
Okay.
just caught something, but I don't know if I heard it right. Did he just say they could push through for trafficking or something?
I didn't hear that, but let's listen.
and Andrew and his family and Jeff and his family, they all returned back to New York. We parted ways right from the storage area. from after they loaded up the truck that I finished helping them, we just split ways. I went with Allie, Candace, and her mother, and everybody else went back to New York.
So I have a question. You know, that corridor right there is, you know, a pretty notorious corridor for mule and dope. Is this a dope run from New York to Tennessee?
No, no,
Could it be?
no, no. Not that I know of. They knew
Well,
better than to bring that around me. They knew better. Because I
well,
told them I'm not going to jail for nobody. So I don't want, because a few of them smoked marijuana. In New York, that's illegal. It's not like,
right.
in other states where it's legal.
This is so irritating when he's like, oh, they knew better, as if they wouldn't cross Jose. These
Exactly.
people have no boundaries and they have no respect for other people. Jose was there. He was about to go rent a room from Candace. I wouldn't assume that he's the most well-respected dude in the gang, that they wouldn't offend him when he needed the ride to get down there. That, again, makes no sense to me.
I totally agree with you. And he's supposed to be in this state of depression as well. So I can see, I I just couldn't see him being everybody, just what you just said, pretty much.
No, come on. Oh, they knew better. I don't think anybody's scared of you. These people,
Exactly.
they're all cut from the same cloth. No boundaries. No boundaries.
Is
And the guy that needs the favor doesn't call the shots.
exactly. And on top of that, remember he tried that same situation with Don about Summer being in and how he called for Summer to get out the shower and all of that. Like I don't buy
You cut out, girlfriend.
of him. Like, I'm sorry. Am I here?
Yep, you're back, girlfriend.
Hello?
Hello.
All right, sorry about that.
You're
Yeah.
okay.
Hello?
Yep, we got you back.
Hello?
Hello.
All right, sorry about
It's
that.
okay.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. But remember he gave that same type of a story with Don when he was calling Summer out of the shower. Like I can't see him doing that at someone else's house, especially Don and Don not saying anything. So, some of the things like that and him calling the shot for, oh, nobody better not be bringing any drugs. Like, yeah, I don't believe that.
Yeah, on one hand, he's the guy you don't want to cross, but he's also the guy that got his ass kicked by Dawn and didn't do a damn thing about the depravity he saw at the Wells house. So I think we can dismiss his statement about what was really going on in that truck. As far as marijuana being illegal in New York, criminals don't care about the law. I understand that might be a
Exactly.
term to some people, but they don't. They don't.
Yep, I definitely agree with you on that. But I think like right at
See,
that
but you,
part is where I hear like something about trafficking, but I could be wrong.
I didn't hear it, but who knows? Who knows? So we're getting ready to get into the part which really does freak me out, where he talks about the seating arrangement. It's at about the 50-minute mark. If you guys want to hear the whole video, the interview room, he's got all the goods. Awesome channel. All right. Ready?
Yep. And when you listen to the seating arrangement, think about June 15th and Summer in the video of in the back seat when he talks about the seating arrangement.
Absolutely. Because otherwise I wouldn't care where everybody sat. Jose's comfort don't matter to me.
Exactly.
No, I don't care.
Well, we gotta take something to smoke, and even I was like, "Nah, you're not gonna bring that." No, like
yeah, right.
we got the kids,
No, I mean,
everything. They could push you for trafficking, and I was like on them with that, and they were like, "You know what, Jose, you're right," and they decided not to bring nothing.
Okay, so that's an admittance of guilt. So no. Again, he's asserting himself as the strong man. They knew not to cross him. So after he confronted them, seems like what he's saying is that was part of the plan. But
Mm-hmm.
when he confronted them, they decided not to bring anything.
Yep.
I have a feeling we brought something.
I definitely agree with you. Definitely agree with you on that.
And I have a feeling that something was part of the rent payment that went to Candace.
Oh, wow. Could be. Could
So, yeah,
definitely be.
you definitely heard that. Thank you for having us restart that. So, no, we don't play the strong man, alpha male saying they know not to cross me and then say, because of him, they decided not to bring, he said not to bring nothing. Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Just brought cigarettes, basically, and snacks and water.
Why would you just bring cigarettes? Cigarettes are like $15 a pack in New York.
Yep.
They're half the amount in Tennessee. I get bringing one pack for the ride, maybe. No, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
For the
Definitely.
kids, but no, there wasn't
No,
no drug run or nothing. That was really out there.
okay, hang on for a minute. I mean, you made an interesting comment
Mhm.
just a second ago. I mean, you said, I'm not going to jail for nobody. Okay. Then you told them that.
Right.
Okay. So,
Yes.
so that means at some point you must have observed something that did not fit
Yeah, I
with,
was telling you, marijuana. The marijuana, because they wanted to
Okay.
bring, marijuana with them. And
Okay.
that's what it was. And I was like, no, like, like, no. We're about to cross multiple states. It's already, it's supposed to have it here, and now y'all want to go and drive all the way down there with your little bit of weed, a bowl pack or two or whatever the hell you're smoking, or a blunt or whatever, and I'm like, I don't want to be part of that.
No, sorry, no way, Jose. Too much detail for shit that didn't happen.
Exactly.
Okay?
Way too many. And he's like stuck on the marijuana.
How much would you put on the daily double on this? Too much detail for something that didn't happen. It's not like the YouTube police are going to show up at his house and arrest him, but he's making sure to say because of him, none of that went down. But they were going to.
Yep.
So if you were that champion of morality before the trip from New York to Tennessee, how come you didn't do a damn thing to save Summer Wells with everything you witnessed at their home?
Exactly. And on top of that, he has kids himself that I think from when he was talking about the interview, I don't think he has much contact with them. So, for me, if you care about others that much, I think you would definitely care about your own first. So, you know, I I don't believe everything he says.
There's stuff in there, but we're just going to sort through it. And one way or another, this does involve Summer Wells because it does involve her parents for sure. All right, so let's get to where he's talking about the seating arrangement. You ready?
Yes.
Andrew was explaining to them, what I was going through with my divorce, and and he's really having it rough. He needs help. He doesn't want to go back. And Candace was like, he could stay in my place. I got an extra room. And she even offered for all of them to stay, but they all said no. They wanted to go back. And I was like, I'm just going to stay. I'm just going to rug it up, wait for my contract, and go. That's it. So we wound up getting into the truck, and we were just there. They drove. I'm just looking at the scenery and stuff. And Hunter was next to me, and Summer was leaning up on
Can you hold
Hunter.
Can you hold up right there,
And he
please?
was on his phone.
Now
Let's get to it. Okay.
This is a total different day.
Mhm.
Why would Summer be leaned up against Hunter, just like she was leaned up against the milk jugs? Why?
That's what I want to know too. Is he describing what he knows from the 15th? Not that he was there to add to the story, or what is going on? Because now twice we have that she's leaned up against someone. We know she can sit up straight, look out the
Exactly.
window, and I mean, come on. So it's almost like he's giving the same description of what happened on the 15th. Why does she need to be leaned up against Hunter? Does he even explain that? Because I can't catch it.
Me either. And then on top of that, if you think about the 15th and you think about when Summer was in the back seat of the video, Jose would have been sitting right where the boxes were. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying he was, but
Mhm.
if he would have been sitting where the boxes, Hunter would have been sitting in the middle, right next to him, next to well, Hunter would have been sitting in the that would have been the middle for Hunter. On top of that, the Hunter Hunter would have replaced the milk jugs. He would have been sitting right where the milk jugs were.
Right.
And then right next to him is Summer leaned up against him. Now Summer was just talking earlier that day
Yeah,
when
but
they
now
met.
he's leaned up against Hunter, and he's being very descriptive again about something he wasn't necessarily asked. I don't hear Chris asking him about any seating arrangement, but he's going into detail about it, just like the drugs they did or didn't take from New York. Joy said, I think it was meant for Jose to stay there. He was going to be their point man.
That could well be, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Spirit. Yeah, Spirit Squad. I don't think Jose was around when Summer vanished. No, we're not saying that either. Just so many oddities with this case. And obviously, we've all heard from Jose before. Just some more things stuck out, especially after listening to Hunter yesterday again. But I don't think he's being honest about a lot of stuff, too. And I've got a real issue when people come out of the gate, when something like this is going on, and they make sure to tell you what a great person they are first, and then kind of sprinkle in some other stuff.
Yep. Yep. And just listening to that part, like, I'm not trying to say Jose is involved or any of that, but it just doesn't make sense when, on the 15th, we know that something had to have happened to Summer because she was reported missing, and she seemed to have not quite a lot of movement or anything that day. And for him to say, Summer was leaned up against Hunter when we know Hunter was with Candace on the day of the 15th, it just like didn't make sense to me. Oh, here's another time where, Summer is leaned up against Hunter.
Yeah, so why she leaned up against him? She's not a baby. She can sit up.
Exactly.
She can sit up.
And then, as he goes on, he's going to give the rest of the seating arrangements, and just put that question mark there for me.
So right here, he's talking about how Hunter's just on his phone. Sounds like Hunter telling everybody about how he wasn't paying attention because he was just on his phone. All right.
Yep.
And then Allie's youngest daughter was in the back seat as well, and I was pinched up to the door. And then the three, Candace, her mother, and Allie, were in the front.
Now I don't believe.
How the hell did this work out?
Exactly. Now,
Four
I
in
don't
the
believe.
back, three in the front. I am not body shaming, but one is Allie. Okay,
Exactly.
Allie's a bigger woman.
Exactly. Now I don't believe all three of them. If this was the 15th, if,
Hmm.
but I to me, I feel like Grandis probably would not have been in the truck, but that's if.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't see all three of them in the truck. And again, Candace is driving. Why couldn't Grandis drive that day? Like, did she have any problem?
Captain Candace.
Exactly. Did she have any problem again?
Always got to be running the ship. Always.
Exactly.
She's always in charge of every day.
And that I don't know if they had. I don't even know if they had the Subaru at that time. Like, why didn't they use that if they had it?
They didn't get the Subaru until like February of 2021. So
Okay.
they're all piled in there like a clown car.
Yes.
Now, obviously, Candace doesn't care about things like safety seats, seat belts, and things like that. I'm sure she was just extra careful driving. But
And then with that back seat, he's said he was pinched up to the door, Hunter next to him, Summer leaned up against Hunter, and then Hunter's sister would be where the Skittles and soda was at. That's if it was the 15th. Not saying it was, but you know,
And like
eh,
Ivory said, and the boys are home alone again.
exactly. Exactly. And why? And the thing is, okay, if this is during that time frame that's not the 15th, but if this is during another time frame, wouldn't Don and the oldest son be in Utah? And who's at home with the younger kids?
Oh, I guarantee they were just home by themselves. Again, that doesn't even raise a red flag anymore. We don't expect Candace to hire a babysitter every time she's got to go pick up a random stranger to come to her house.
True, very true. But
Yeah.
it seems like always the boys are at home.
Mhm.
The and it's just and Summer's not really making any movements on two
Again,
different
she's leaned
occasions.
up against Hunter, leaned up against Hunter. True's back there. He's back there. Okay, so we got 4 in the back. And again, somehow, Candace, Allie, and Grandis all piled in the front. I don't get it.
Exactly. Like something about that just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know. It just does not make sense to me. It
Good.
sounds too much like some details that could possibly be from the 15th, but of course I don't know. But
That's what I want to know. Did he talk to, has he been watching YouTube? Did he talk to someone afterward? Because this description sounds a lot like the 15th, with the exception of Allie piled in the front.
yes, right. And I, with Hunter not being able to know if he was in the middle or if he got out, or you think about the seating arrangement Jose just was talking about, kind of made me wonder, was this the seating arrangement that day on the 15th? And Hunter, you know, actually just don't want to tell who was actually in the truck that day. But
That's what I want to know. Because I'm still going back to, it's just common sense. Hunter keeps saying Summer was sitting in the middle. He was behind Candace. Okay, he was sitting behind the driver's seat. Then he's sitting in the middle. Why? Nobody sits on the hump unless you
exactly.
have to, unless you have something in the seat or another person.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. And can't figure out the milk situation. Like, it's this case have my head spinning.
Me too. Okay, so I'm going to play the rest of the seating arrangement.
Okay.
Hang on.
Of the truck, and that's where they sat. And they was just asking me, what kind of work I did and things like that. Just, I guess, getting to know me.
And you notice Summer says nothing else. Like he says nothing else in regards to Summer talking. She introduced herself when they all met up at the storage.
She
But
introduced herself and she was very outgoing. Hi, I'm Summer. He seems nice, all of that stuff. Okay, then I get to this with Kenny. Put the stranger in the back with the kids. Does it even raise a red flag anymore? They were moving him in. Don't know anything about this man, his record, anything about him. Something was going on in this circle, and Candace was going to benefit somehow.
yep.
Hang
It
on.
just doesn't make sense.
It does not, my friend. Hold on.
Okay.
You there, Chris? Might be having some technical problems.
I don't know if you guys can hear me or see me. I think
We got you now.
froze.
I think he's working through some. So, what was your initial impression of them? And had you seen the house prior to them inviting you?
No, I didn't see the house prior. No. And my first impression was they were nice. That was my first impression.
And
and Andrew kept telling them, he's really going through a lot, try to be easy with him, and he was explaining to them about, me trying to commit suicide and all of that. So they knew already, before I entered the home, my personal problem.
All right. So he had never seen the house. Really doesn't shock me now. It shocked me in the beginning when I heard that. He'd never seen the house, but all of this was set up for him to have a room to rent, and he was going to stay there. I don't believe he had
Mhm.
any new beginnings planned in East Tennessee. I don't, but I think Candace was benefiting from this arrangement in one way or another. I go back to what was said on Dr. Phil and what Dawn said to Brian N. I think she made the wrong friends.
Yep.
And she has made a lot of wrong friends. But they're all wrong for befriending Candace, too. That is in no way, shape, or form me making Candace out to be a victim. No, no. No, no. Mm-mm. No.
Problem already.
Don't advertise on Google Ads or Facebook before blocking click fraud with Clixies. Not a fun fact.
And Andrew was like, he just doesn't want to go back because he doesn't want to feel like that anymore. And they were like, it's understandable. And, Allie that's why I left Gloversville. It was too depressing over there. So I moved down here, and that's
And what was so
she
special
wound up
about
doing. And I was
Candace's
like,
house?
oh, okay.
and Chris, just to catch up to speed, if you didn't hear, I asked him his initial impression.
So if you're depressed, you're anxious, and you're going through all these life changes like divorces and such, why would you want to go to a perfect stranger's house? I mean, it's no Shangri-La. It's no take your mind off of everything retreat. It's Candace's house, for God's sake.
Exactly.
There's more going on with this trip. Candace is not the bleeding heart that, she doesn't even take care of animals. I said yesterday on the show, I wouldn't leave her in charge of an air fern. Okay. Something in this benefited her.
Hmm.
Nobody would do that. Nobody would go through major life changes and say, I understand getting a different landscape around you, different glimpse of scenery, make a fresh start. I get it. Not at Candace's house. No. And this introduction from Andrew to Allie, immediately volunteering Candace for the job. Who else would you pick? And him accepting to go stay at her house.
Yep. Not even knowing her or, knowing the situation there. Like, you could be getting yourself in a worse situation than you was here in New York.
Yeah, Gloversville is depressing. Okay. You want a new change. You want new scenery, whatever. And okay, but you're going to go to the most dysfunctional home on the freaking planet.
Exactly.
And now look where you're at. Okay. I'm going to get through this clip and then we're going to speed it up and we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about when he talks about how the kids play with each other.
Okay.
Impression of all of them, and if he had seen the house before he was invited to stay there, and he said no, he has. And for the people just joining us, Jose Roman is with us here on the interview room.
This is why Josh is here. Boom, right there, buddy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The last question I asked was in relationship to out front meeting everybody, and did we get that cleared up as to who was there? And that was going to be my next question. How did we end up at 110 Ben Hill Road? So did you guys already cover that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we covered it. Oh, we covered how he wound up there.
Hmm.
Oh, we covered. Then I go back again. I'm not saying Andrew has anything to do with anything. Jose, I'm looking at the guilty knowledge comment made by behavioral panel, Dr. Phil, Doesn't take much to convince Don and him to run with any theory that you throw out there. But when he was so matter of fact and kind of sulking when he was talking to Brian Enton, now mind you, he looked like a whipped pup because they were searching for Summer again. This was back in the fall, and he goes, I think she made the wrong friends.
Yep. Yep. I remember that because that stood out to me in regards to that, and I kept thinking about the people that came down from here, and Allie, and her family,
Mm-hmm.
and just how involved, or if they're involved, just what happened.
It's sad to say. I know I've been saying it. My first show on Summer was June 16th. And it was a few shows after that I said, there's not going to be a white knight in this story, guys. We're not going
Oh,
to see any hero come out. I stand by that statement.
I agree with that.
In almost 11 months, I stand by my statement. All right? I have no problem saying when I'm wrong. Zero at all. I have no problem looking like a dumbass or admitting a mistake. But I'm going to stand by that statement. I don't see any hero coming out. No.
I agree with that because 11 months. If the truth should have been out already. And they all are hiding whatever they're hiding, or I think they all have knowledge of what happened.
I think they all have a pretty good idea. And I think every little nugget, every little piece of the puzzle, it'd be easier to put together. They're not going to talk about it.
Nope.
It's like a secret society. It's dysfunctional sociology 101. You know what I mean?
Yep. Definitely.
The way they look at it, she's already gone.
Yep. And
nothing else to do.
And it looks like they've already processed that in their minds, and and they're sticking to whatever they choose to stick to, their their story or the script or
tinfoil. That's what I'm saying too. Tinfoil. By the way, your comments have had me laughing my ass off today. So Gloversville, New York to Ben Hill sounds like the cure for depression. That's what I'm saying. How bad did you have it in Gloversville to go hop on Candace's bunk bed? How bad could it be? I feel bad for the people of Gloversville, New York. This is a slap in the face to you guys.
Yeah.
Huge slap in the face to your whole community that somebody would rather be at Candace's house than in Gloversville.
Definitely. I'm not far from Gloversville, but I couldn't see myself like in a situation and saying, oh yeah, let me, if I knew Candace, I definitely wouldn't leave New York to go there.
No, not Candace's. No.
Definitely not. I'll go to the city before I go there.
No. Jose, come on. You had a mission to do. You had something else going on. No. No. This depression, anxiety being treated at Candace's, and nobody's going to cross you between the gang in New York, but you get down there and all you see is depravity and you do nothing about it. We got too many double negatives here.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, love that YouTube name. I think Don is keeping a secret that he doesn't want anyone to know. He's hiding something. Oh, hell yeah. We could do a month of shows on the stuff that Don's hiding.
Yeah.
Freaking Don. What? Numero uno, my question. Where were you June 15th, Don? Why did you really fire Dudley on the 14th?
Mm-hmm. And the thing too, what Dudley said too about him, how he came to work on that Monday, raised another question in my head. Like, I kind of feel that Dudley, out of all of them, might give a little truth.
They all have some. They all have some. We're never going to discount all this stuff. Now, some of this shit, like I just went down there for depression and anxiety. Stop.
Exactly. And I think he said he got treated here in Albany, like, and they encouraged him to leave.
Well, I mean, a good treatment for depression and anxiety would be therapy and medication.
Exactly.
I'm assuming that he was on the Fidelis plan in New York. New York has a lot of state benefits. So why would he go somewhere with no address or anything like that and lose all that?
Exactly.
He
Well,
had a job to do for someone.
he did. And remember, he said, I think he went to, I think he had some type of welfare fraud or something he mentioned. And he did some time upstate.
Mhm.
So I don't know, if that might have played into the benefits wise, if he had some type of welfare fraud.
He did. He did. But it's been long enough now that, I mean, I don't think they can deny you insurance. It's been, from what I understand, it had been long enough to where he could get benefits again.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm going to look at that again. All right. So now this is at the, I think, 1 hour and 23 minute mark. And I'm going to start winding it down. This is about the kids, how they play with each other.
That Summer's been hiding into that fridge before?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So he's saying, again, this is not the first time we've watched this, but the way he says it this time, it's more definitive. So Summer used to hide in that fridge. So there's Jose. Don't cross this. Don't cross the line with Jose. Don't go in his personal space. He's got boundaries, people.
Yeah.
And he sees her hiding in this refrigerator that should have never been left in the yard. So right there, we're talking about the fridge again.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because she used to always tell him, go play hide and go seek, go outside, go play. You know?
Okay.
And she knew that she already had been in that fridge a few times.
Okay.
And she was like, I used to argue with her, but, the fridge opens. Ain't nothing bad going to happen to her in there. So I just gave up arguing with her about it.
So you argued with her about her hiding in that fridge? Is that what you're saying?
No, that Candace said she gave up arguing with Summer about hiding in the fridge.
Oh, so the mom and daughter had a conversation in the past. Did you hear that? Have you ever heard that?
No.
Oh, did you believe it?
Conversation
Yeah.
about?
About Summer having a conversation with Candace about hiding in the fridge?
Oh, I did. The way she was saying it, I believe that she did talk to Summer about the fridge.
Okay.
But then
Okay.
Candace was like, she just gave up. And she was like, she's not going to get hurt in there. I already checked the fridge. Everything's fine. It opens, closes. It doesn't lock. Okay. I really didn't think nothing of it.
Okay.
When the kids were playing hide and go seek and things like that, just around the house, how rough were they with each other?
Not real rough, but just like normal kids. Accidents happen, maybe one time Wyatt was running real quick and he was running around to hook around the corner of the house and he ran into Waylon. Waylon wound up falling and scraping his knee. That's like the worst I've seen.
It's not the worst you've seen. You just witnessed Summer hiding in a refrigerator.
Exactly.
But it doesn't lock like Candace said. I think we all know what our refrigerators look like, okay? We know they don't lock.
And you would think for the safety of the kids that they would have moved the refrigerator. Like, I mean, I don't know what state laws are in Tennessee, but you would think that, you would not have that on your property for the kids to even play with.
Again, doesn't even raise a red flag for me anymore. Nope. When I buy a new fridge, like clockwork, they take the old one away.
Exactly.
Take it to the salvage yard, and before they take it somewhere and sell it, it goes to like a resale house or something like that. But if it goes to the salvage yard, the doors are removed so no animals, people, anything get into it. All right.
Yep, that's exactly how it is hit when I've had a refrigerator replaced. Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. Appliances in the yard aren't safe for kids. If it's just Dawn and Candace there, who cares? Candace, you can go hide in the fridge. I don't care.
Exactly.
So, okay, so they play outside. Where else did the children used to hide that you're aware of?
In Candace's mother camper in the bathroom.
Say it again.
In Candace's mother's camper inside of the bathroom.
Okay. Is that one of the cabinets?
Yeah. No, it's a bathroom.
Okay. She just hid it.
Yeah.
She hid in the bathroom.
Yeah, because that was Candace's mother's like storage. She didn't use the bathroom there. She used the bathroom in the house. So she converted.
She didn't convert anything. She's no carpenter. Brandon is a hoarder, and so is Candace. I've seen pictures of that camper, and it's stacked to the gills. She uses it for storage. What storage? Do you visit Antiques Roadshow? What are you storing? Except trash you're too lazy to take out.
And another thing, does she even have running water in that trailer? Because they mentioned that I think when they were planting the flowers or whatever, that they washed when Summer supposedly asked for a piece of candy and they washed their hands or something. Um, does she even have running water in that trailer?
I don't see Don installing a water spigot for his mother-in-law. I'm going to guess no, which is why she used the bathroom in the house. I'd be surprised if Jody has running water in her camper. I mean, honestly, I don't know.
Wow.
No, I don't think so. Okay, Ivory, in the first video, Candace said kids were playing hide and go seek. Does anybody doubt that the kids played hide and go seek? Because I don't.
I don't either. And if you remember, Chris said in one of his videos that one of the kids said they were playing hide and seek.
Hide and seek. Then after that, it was playing games. I mean, I don't doubt at all that it's dangerous around there. I don't doubt at all that Summer hid in that refrigerator. Don points out the refrigerator to us. He was beating it with the stick. We'll go back through that interview another day. And he said, I don't know what she was doing in here. He said that. Jose said he saw her playing in there, but Candace said it's no big deal because it doesn't lock. But, Mr. Don't Cross Me, Jose was okay with it. I get you don't parent other people's kids, but wrong is wrong. As far as, the boys running into each other and scraping their knees, that happens with kids. Kids are rowdy. So, whereas Hunter's telling us that the boys are notorious for picking on Summer, Jose didn't seem to see any of that.
Yeah, Hunter did mention that. And yeah, I don't recall Jose saying any of that either in the interview with Chris.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a picture of the fridge handy. Thomas, you're right, because my grandparents' fridges were like that. And those fridges, I swear, they'll run forever.
And
they do lock. They do lock. I get what Candace is saying. It doesn't lock. Actually, I don't get what Candace is saying because it's ridiculous for your child to be playing inside of an old refrigerator. But yeah, the older ones did lock. We have a picture of this one, and there is one door missing, but the other door's not. And it's there's no lock on it. It's not brand new, but it's a more modern one. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and remember, Candace didn't even know if the basement door locked. Like, so it's like can't really believe her if something locked or not, because she had no knowledge of the basement door either. You know, if it
None.
was locked or not.
The amount of things that Candace doesn't know, considering she's the mother of a missing child, you could fit in the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of stuff that she doesn't know, that she should know, is infinite.
Exactly.
It's just a bunch of, I don't know. I don't know. Well, this door used to lock. She forgets to mention in her interview with Chris, Jose mentioned the couch, Allie mentioned the couch, and I believe Sherry mentioned the couch. There used to be a couch against that door. When did that couch get moved? Of course, I don't expect anybody in here to know, but when did it get moved? And
That's
why? It was there supposedly for a safety measure because the door didn't lock. Now,
and
the
that's
door seemed to lock during her interview with Chris, though.
yeah, and that's a good question. Like, what happened to that couch?
I think it was Kat that said, by the way, Kat made the thumbnail. She's been busy at college and everything. Kat, I think she said that in one picture she saw it out in the yard, which makes sense. I mean, of course, it makes sense for them, not for me. Because when you don't need something, you don't sell it, you don't have it hauled off, you just put it in the yard, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Not talking about you.
No. I'm laughing at what you're saying.
Not going to bother the trash man. Not going to do anything like that. Even though Don has work trucks, we're not going to haul anything off to the dump. Just move in the yard.
Yep.
Let the dogs play on the couch. Let the kids play in the fridge. Mm-hmm. Bob says, was that couch a sleeper sofa? I don't know. When Jose was talking about the couch, because I believe that the couch was there, because again, too many details for something that didn't happen. Two of the boys, well, the two that were there, because we know that the oldest one was in Utah with Don, he said used to sit on that couch. He explained where it was. It was against the door that the abductor got Summer out of, supposedly according to Candace, and they would watch TV and play their video games there. Tinfoil Brat said fridge and couch got gone. Boy, they've had a lot of life changes over the last 11 months, haven't they?
Exactly.
Wow.
They got rid of a lot of stuff, even summer stuff.
Mm-hmm. 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 Absolutely nuts. Well, girlfriend, I'm going to start winding this down. I got a lot more stuff to go through because this has really got my mind rocking now.
Mine's too.
Now I got more questions. Damn you.
I know. I feel the same way. Gives me. I can't imagine how the people that are actually working on this case feel.
If it wasn't for the fact that Summer was missing, I'd be afraid to answer the phone. If I was
Right?
law enforcement in Tennessee, I'd be like, "What now? Oh God, no."
Exactly.
Well, hey, thanks for coming up. I'll text you right after the show. Okay.
All right. All right. Bye.
Big round of applause for Sasha, or I call her Tasha. I like how she does deep dives into different interviews and stuff and points out stuff like I never even really thought about. Because she keeps talking about these similarities between Jose talking about the seating arrangement on the way to Ben Hill Road when he was supposedly going there to live, I believe, and the 15th. And again, there's too much detail for something that didn't happen. Then we have in Hunter's interview, total confusion about who was sitting where and why. Can't even describe what happened with the milk. You know, he does say, I can't remember what happened 3 weeks ago. He did say that several times, but it's like it keeps changing. Anyway, I hope everyone has a super, super weekend. I'm not going to be able to do the members only live today. It's more than likely going to be tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a ton of fun. And as soon as I get a hold of Tally, I know she's in the air. We'll get a live scheduled to talk about everything that went on for her to get Nikki back. Thank you, mods. You're awesome. Thank you, Sasha. Can't do it without you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being the best chat on YouTube and the best community. I'll see you in Discord or over in Facebook land. Bye-bye.